Okay, good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun with Benzion. We're learning Kesubos stuff Nun Aleph, number 51. Today the Gemara gets into something which is really a very practical halacha, unfortunately. A woman who commits adultery with her husband. Adultery. Now, not adultery, she's raped. So that's what we're talking about. She was raped. Um, so if she's raped, the Torah clearly says, "V'hilo nitbasa," right? By a sota. She was not nitbasa. She wasn't grabbed against her will. She did it on purpose. And the Torah continues, "Mal mal." She committed adultery on purpose. She's a sota. A sota is asur labal, asur labal. She's asur to her husband, asur to anybody. She did it amazing. She did it on purpose. If she was raped, v'hilo nitbasa. He nitbasa, ha nitbasa muteris. If she was raped, she muteris. Now, the Gemara brings in a machlokas in Avua de Shmuel and Rava. Abu the Shmuel says even if she's nensa and she's Israel, she's aser, because chayshin and chilas of onus for sofa baratzon. Even though when a woman's raped, right, she might not enjoy in the beginning, but at the end maybe she'll enjoy it. Maybe she'll like the guy. She'll enjoy it. So even if there's a little element at the end, right, not when she's first taken, but when they actually consummate the marriage, the bia, they have sex together, maybe she'll enjoy it. So she'll enjoy it. She's aser. She's a mala Hashem. She's an adulteress. That's what Abu the Shmuel says. So where did the Torah say that she's mutaris? That's talking about where Adam saw that she was screaming the entire time. If we don't have evidence of that, we assume she's asur, even if she's Yisrael. Rava says, no. Even if it was a situation where we can assume at the end it was baratzon, we have a chash as baratzon, she's still mutaris to her husband to do Yisrael. She's mutaris because the Gemara says Yetzer Albasha. It wasn't really, even though she had enjoyed it, we could have proof she really enjoyed it. And she's saying at the end, we even hear her saying, I would hire this guy as an escort while they're having sex. She really enjoys this guy. I'd pay money for this guy. Doesn't make a difference. Yetzer Albasha, it's not really her. It's not really mal babayla. She wasn't really rebelling against her husband. She's not. So if that's the case the Torah is talking about, right? Hilo nitbasa surah. Hanitbasa, if she's taken against her will, which is talking about even in the case Tchilas of onus with sofa baratzon, right? And yesh l'chacheres, like Eishes Kohen, right? She's going to be asura even if she's raped. But what rape are we talking about? So the Gemara assumes the general rape we're talking about. Most women is like that, I guess the Gemara says. It's Tchilas of onus, the sofa baratzon. So a Kohenes, a wife of a Kohen, would only be asur if Tchilas of onus, the sofa baratzon, right? However, if it was Tchilas of onus, the sofa ba'onus, right, we could assume that it was really against her will. She really hated the whole thing. We have good reason to assume that. She'd be mutaris, even Eishes Kohen. It would be a huge kula, lahalacha. Based on this Gemara, the Gemara seems to implicate this, that a woman who's raped, even Eishes Kohen, she's married, allowed to say married to her husband, unless we have reason to assume that she enjoyed it at the end. What's the distinction? How do we know? So, I'd like to suggest that it's based on the end of the Gemara. The Gemara says, talks about three cases. Achashverosh, if she was captured by Achashverosh. She was captured by Nebuchadnezzar, and captured by regular bandits. Now, in two of these cases, she's muteres. She's like a shvuya. In one of these cases, in one of these cases, two of the cases, she's like a shvuya. Achashverosh in case of bandits. I mean, like a shvuya, a woman who's captured, is captured captive, and they want to ransom. They want to ransom in order to return her. So in those cases, she's like a shvuya. What's a shvuya? A shvuya we assume, unless pasha aser pasha hit, we assume she's aser. Eishes Israel is mutter. We assume she was raped, but Eishes Kohen is aser because assume that she even if she was raped, she's aser to her husband, right? Eishes Kohen, she's aser to her husband. So by Achashverosh and by regular bandits, not Nebuchadnezzar, what is the case of Achashverosh and bandits? I explained in the regular shit, Achashverosh, that was the ultimate case of Tchilas Ba'onus of Sofer. So we know Esther, right, in the fifth parak of the Megillah, when she went back to Achashverosh to plead bond the Jewish people, the Gemara says she was Baratzon, it was Tchilas Baratzon, right? She went ahead and she offered herself. You know, the Gemara really hints to this, but that's what's going on. She was saying, she was coming to Achashverosh, she wanted to sleep with him, and plead for the Jewish people. So as Baratzon, she became Asura on Mordechai. But when she was taken in the contest, that was Tchilas Ba'onus for Baratzon. All the beautiful girls were taken against their will. the sofa baratzon. They had 12 months to prepare for this. It wasn't like he was forcing it on them. They put on the best perfumes. They tried to make a great impression on them. They wanted to be the queen. So it was definitely sofa baratzon over there. They were enjoying it. They're having a good time. They weren't raped, where the guy just took her into a room and started raping her against her will. So in that case, that was the ultimate tchilas tabon of sofa baratzon. That's like a shvuya, and a shvuya, meaning Eishes Yisrael would be mutter, and Eishes Kohen would be asur. And the same like bandits. Bandits, they take a girl as opposed to a man. They capture a girl. They take her. They want to sleep with her. They bring her to a hotel. They do it nice. They have a good time. It's very reasonable to assume tchilas tabon and sofa baratzon. It's like a shvuya. Eishes Yisrael mutter. Eishes Kohen asura. However, there's a third case. Bandits, Nebuchadnezzar, right? He exiled the whole Jews, men, women, and children. He was destroying the Beis HaMikdash. He put them in exile. It's very possible. He put them in jail, in a dungeon. And some soldiers came and just raped them, and they didn't like that at all. You get raped in a dungeon, you're not enjoying that at all. That's tchilas bonus, the sofa bonus. You're not enjoying it at all. In that case, the Gemara says that by Bein Netzar, Nebuchadnezzar, in that case, a shvuah, she's not treated as a shvuah. What does it mean she's not treated as a shvuah? Even Eishes Kohen would be muteris. Even Eishes Kohen, she's married to a Kohen, she would be muteris because sofa bonus, tchilas bonus, the sofa bonus, the entire thing is bonus. So therefore, by Eishes Kohen, if we have reason to assume that she was raped, the man breaks into a woman's house and just rapes her in not a way where she might enjoy it at all. We know it's presumably we have clear indication or reasonable to assume that she hated the entire thing. She muteris to a Kohen. Now, what's the explanation? Why is that? So my Rebbe from YU, or Yonasan Sachs, one of my Rebbe from YU, he explained that the whole idea of being usher your husband is mal, right? She rebelled against her husband. She didn't like him. If she's a sota, she does it on bemezit. Now, why is it that Eishes Kohen we assume is asura even if she's raped? So based on what I'm saying now, the only case where she's asura is tchilas tabon with sofa baratzon, right? And Eishes Yisrael, he's a Yisrael. So even though it was tchilas tabon with sofa baratzon, she's muteris. Why is she muteris? Yetzer albasha, the Gemara says, because she's not really rebelling against her husband. She's just enjoying the act. So she didn't really rebel against her husband. But Kohanim have more kedusha, meaning they have to enjoy their lives more. More mitzvahs means more enjoyment. And even a woman who rebelled a little bit against her husband, then it was tchilas tabon the sofa baratzon, yetzer albasha, she enjoyed it at the end. She rebelled a little bit against her husband. Next time she's with her husband, she's still going to be thinking about that other man, right? That ruins your sex. It ruins your sex if the woman's thinking about a different man. She's not into it. So by Yisrael, you don't have so much kedusha. So even though she's thinking partially with the other man, because at the end she enjoyed it, so that's not enough to ask her on her husband. But a Kohen has to have kedusha. He has to have a woman who really loves him. So therefore, even if she rebelled at the end, she would be asura to him because they're not going to have the same relationship they had before. However, but completely ba'ona, she's raped against her will. She hates the guy who did it. That wouldn't ruin her relationship with her husband, who's a Kohen, and they have the same relationship as before, and she would muteris to her husband. There's a huge kula I'm saying over here. I think it's really true. And most cases of onus or raping are where it's really sofa ba'onus also. She doesn't want to do it at the end, and she got muteris to the Kohen. This could be classified as Iyun to lean on my Shulchan Aruch shir, but it is a real psak halacha. I believe, I'm not a rabbi, but I think this is the correct halacha. Hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in Daily Double. Mishnah Yomi coming up next.